Today. Both of the speakers are Ashwin Krishna and Ashwin Kumar. Today we will discuss about all the websites. We certainly do multi-channel marketing to reach out to your ideal profile customers. But we never understand that your website itself can play a role of growth engine for you, like generating more and more leads, not the leads but quality leads. Today we will discuss how we can achieve that. We have Ashwin Krishna here. Hi Ashwin, and thank you so much for joining us. Um,
Hey Ashwini.
Ashwin
Thanks.
Krishna heads growth marketing at Tact.ai. Tact.ai is an enterprise CRM product company backed by Microsoft, Amazon, Salesforce, Excel partners, amongst others. Um, Ashwin, we are really thankful to you to join us. You have a tremendous 15 years of B2B and SaaS marketing experience across US, EMEA, and APAC markets. So you have experience like all over the world, like all the markets, which someone can dream of, like fellow marketers. And previously, you held marketing leadership roles at Capillary Technologies and Jupiter. So it's gonna be a really exciting session for us and a great learning for us too. I would like to mention that Ashwin is a regular speaker on B2B and or SaaS marketing and has co-authored its Commerce Sense, a handbook on omni-channel commerce for consumer brand CXOs. He has won several awards, including Most Promising Tech Marketer award by Economic Times and Most Influential Marketing Leader award by World Marketing Congress. So it's I would say we are really excited to learn from you and how we as a marketer can turn and transform our website into a growth engine. Welcome, Ashwin, and thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure.
And sorry, just one thing to mention here. Ashwin Kumar, our co-founder and CEO, CustomFit, he will explain how exactly we can achieve that. Like, uh, he will give an example. What are the steps through which we can achieve that? So that's all I wanted to say, and over to you, Ashwin.
Sure. Thanks, Ashwini. I think it's a very interesting coincidence that Ashwini calling Ashwin Kumar and Ashwin Krishna. I think in fact, I was thinking, when I at least got some, when I was able to comprehend things, I was wondering, Ashwin might be a very rare name, but unfortunately it starts with A, and hence will always be in the beginning row in exams. You can't copy and things like that. So I went through this challenges, but it's not so rare name, I would say. So having
Not
three
at all.
names.
Not at all.
I'm sorry, I still have bad cold. Just recovering, so just pardon me for that. Very exciting, folks. I think extremely exciting times, especially for software in specific to SaaS. Valuations are all-time high. You can see there are already 10 plus unicorns, which are India based, which was founded in India, and then built for the world, right? Lights of Freshworks to Icertis. Very excited times, I would say. And then uh, if you are in B2B, especially in SaaS, you should call yourself fortunate because the party has just started actually. Right. So before we get started, I think I'll spend about 30 minutes. I think Ashwin Kumar has something to talk, and the rest of the time I will learn from you, right? We will learn from you through your questions and your point of views, actually, right? So before we get started, so I work at TACT and I also run a blog called growton.co. And the whole idea of the Growton is to really build a community of sorts for SaaS marketeers. While I write right now, but I would also invite you folks to be part of Growton, and then you can start contributing your knowledge. All right. So yeah, the most interesting part, in especially in my childhood days, till my college, after which I stopped attending the quizzes, was the trivia. Actually, right? So trivia is very intriguing, sort of tickles your brains and also alerts you. Actually, right? I thought I typically do this for every session to just to break the ice, and I try and take something which is in line with the topic. And today's topic is all about website. So I thought I'll quickly check uh, kind of a history, I would say. So which website is this? So there's a bit of a clue in between if you're able to spot it. Sorry, I'm not able to go back to the Q&A, but if you can please drop in notes, and Ashwini, if you can check if somebody has guessed the company name correct, it'll be fun actually. So you got to guess which company is this, and this is the company's website. And I'll give a quick clue. This company started way back in 1999, and in a span of about 20 plus years, their market cap, today's market cap, is $225 billion. One of the most inspirational companies, I would say. Very easy to guess. There are some clues embedded in the website itself. So Ashwini, just quickly tell me if somebody has dropped
Yes.
in comments, if somebody has dropped the name. Sorry, I'm not able to see it because I'm in the browser.
Yes, I'm just checking that.
Sure.
Yeah, please.
Should I go ahead and share the name? Give it a try, folks. I
Yeah,
think.
we Yahoo. Someone is saying Yahoo.
Okay, sure. Any other guesses?
CNET,
CNET. Okay, any other
Salesforce.
guesses? All right, the answer is
One.
Salesforce. Sure, the answer is Salesforce. I think very, it's an incredible company. Might not be an incredible product, but it's certainly an incredible company and a brand. Certainly is a dream company for, I would say, any B2B marketer. And then I think every great idea start with a small milestone, right? And then if you look at their website, it is just another 1990s website actually. All right, another company, right? This is another company, very edgy, cool, and very sharp in terms of the brand communication. I think most of you will potentially spot it if you are abreast of what's happening in the SaaS world. And again, the visual kind of gives you the clue actually which company is this.
We are waiting for the answers.
Folks, and if someone
Sun
can,
Microsystems.
I don't think Sun will will really dare to.
Oh, that was, I guess.
This is on the other end of the spectrum, I would say. But I'll quickly move forward. I think in the interest of time, this amazing company called
Oh,
Gong,
oh, oh.
who is in sales intelligence. I think they're another. They're also creating some really cool milestones in terms of building a brand, largely. All right, so here's a quick.
Woody let it go, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right. Great. Yeah, here's a brief story about myself. So, I essentially started as a programmer, but really failed. I broke a few releases, and I still remember those dark days where I was sitting in front of a dark computer and I just couldn't focus actually. After that, me and my childhood friend, we started a bed and breakfast aggregation portal in the same year when Airbnb started, right? The difference is Airbnb is now, I think, 200 billion plus valued company, and we stopped this idea after, I would say, 18 months. So great idea, but way ahead of the time. We started at a time when make my trip was struggling to sell airline tickets in India. Uh, but that really sort of brought out brought out a new person in me. Sorry, that sort of essentially sparked a new angle for my life. That's where I started doing marketing, and after my MBA from ISB, so all my I think the last decade it was all B2B marketing, I would say. So I've been fortunate to kind of work with companies like Capillary, which is in fact one of the APAC SaaS pioneers, I would say. I was part of their 15x growth. We grew almost 15 times in a span of 6+ years. We acquired three companies. The marketing team kind of grew multifold actually, right? So all the way from rebranding, that's the brand marketing, revenue marketing, which is the growth marketing. Third pillar is the product marketing, and the fourth pillar is customer marketing, right? I was fortunate to kind of do all of that with an amazing team. Currently, I'm with an interesting CRM product company called Tag.ai, which is really backed. It is backed by some of the largest cloud companies in the world, which is Salesforce, Microsoft, and Amazon. You can't get that right? And all three, large companies, backing a CRM product. All right, so here's a quick surprise for you folks. If you really need this slide deck, so I have a bunch of templates, I have a bunch of frameworks which I've added. If you want this deck, I will definitely send it to you. But sorry, you're really quick exercise, and I strongly believe in sharing knowledge. If you can just write a post after this, right? After this, whenever you have time, if you can write a LinkedIn post, tag me, add one learning, just one learning, add even more actually, right? If you want to write a long post, that's also fine. If you want to add screenshots, that's also fine. But the point is, tag me, share your learning. What did you learn? And then just drop me a message. Just send that link to me. I will, as a token of gratitude, I will send this deck to you folks. Okay, so here is what we will try and sort of discuss today. I think, as Ashwini mentioned, uh, the key is really about uncovering this whole idea about how can we build, how can we envision, how can we start seeing website as a growth engine, not just as another piece of collateral, which the designers and the developers would work on. So that's number one. I'll also sort of unbundle um, a slide on what are the strategy pillars which we should look at when you build a website. And the second piece is about how can website be useful when you are at different stages, right? At a you are at a, when you are at a stage when you are pre-revenue, you're trying to figure out the product market fit. The kind of stuff that you can put on the website is very different compared to when you're at a hyper growth stage and compared to when you're at a post IPO stage, right? Because the kind of expectation from the market is very, very different. So I'll try and cover that because I've kind of seen all the different journeys. Sorry. And then we'll try and spend some time in sort of decoding the anatomy, right? Anatomy is how does a best performing homepage look like? How does a best performing product page look like? So on and so forth. And few other questions that you typically have, right? Hey, should we build the website internally? Should we outsource it? Should we have the blog under a subfolder, or should we have a blog under subdomain? Should we have a CMS? Should we not have a CMS? So these are some of the top questions which every marketer would have. So we'll try and sort of discuss some of them. I think most of us think website as this, right? A bunch of words, images, videos, forms, CTAs, and just slap everything together and then your job is done, right? And that's how we all do it. We think very tactically saying, hey, let's change this CTA, right? And then see what happens, right? Let's change this headline because someone says, right? Because every department has a opinion in marketing. That's kind of a boon and a bane, especially even if you're working with the CEO and the founder. he or she will also have a lot of opinions about marketing, right? Which is good, but also as a marketing leader, I think you should have a very clear point of view and a strategy, and everything has to tie back to that, right? You just don't want to change a headline or a CTA because somebody has mentioned you actually. I think this has to stop. This has to stop where, rather than looking at website as just a bunch of words and images, we should start looking at website as a growth engine, which can truly enable a journey all the way from creating the brand to creating the advocacy, right? Uh, and then this is really the SaaS model, right? This is the bow tie model where the job of a marketeer or job of a website just doesn't end when somebody becomes a customer, but also you should also figure out how can you help your customers and your audience at their every step of the journey, right? On the left hand side are a bunch of channels all the way from Google Ads to emails to LinkedIn, and on the right hand side you have sorry happy customers, right? The point is to really figure out and map how can website become an enabler at every step in the journey, right? From the marketing point of view and from the metrics point of view, you will think about it as, hey, how many prospects do we have on the website now? How many visitors have we got? Then how many MQLs and signups did we get? Then how many opportunities? Then how many customers? How many of them really have hit a milestone where they've achieved the first value, right? First value is, let's say, if you're talking about a retail tech company, a e-commerce software company, have they made their e-commerce store live, right? That's when they will get the first value. And then they'll pay you ARR, which is the annual recurring revenue. And after a while, after a few years, you'll start reaping uh, the golden metric of SaaS, right, which is very high lifetime value or LTV. So the point is, website can enable or unlock value across this bow tie actually, right? So I sort of added what is it that the website can enable. For example, when there is a prospect, so they will come to your website and they'll read some blogs, right, which is industry stories, right? When they're interested, so what they'll do is they will come to your website and read a bunch of testimonials. That's the customer stories. So after that, when they're really interested to buy your product, that's when they will come, understand about your product, maybe download your data sheet. They will compare you with your competitors. If you have a set of pages about them, very clearly articulating how are you different from your competitors, they will go and evaluate that as well. They will read that. They will also use an ROI calculator potentially to, even just before they make a decision, they'll potentially, use the ROI calculator which your website has, which will enable them to make a decision. After that, they will again come back to the website when they are a customer to get any onboarding help, so on and so forth, right? So the whole point is, don't just look at website as a lead generation engine, but much, much more than that, right? Think about it as this one big idea, right? One big um, weapon, right? Which can help you sort of enable all the way from branding to advocacy, right? The way I've put it here. So it's extremely important to really think about it from a strategic point of view. And then how does it all start, right? I think it really starts with two things actually. Even before you put together the strategy, the big word, but I think the most important thing is the mindset change actually, right? So don't look at website as a project which you and your developer would work or your designer would work. So website is this one, possibly the most underrated and the most important stuff which any SaaS marketer or a B2B marketer will work on. And hence, and this is your company's face, right? This is the face of your brand. And hence ensure you get people all the way from product customer success to a CEO. Uh, Involve them at the right places so that, let's say when you're talking about product, then you possibly have to work with the product management, so on and so forth. And then ensure you create that mind shift in terms of website is not just another project. It's possibly one of the most important projects, actually. I think it all starts with the audience. I think anything in marketing, right? It all starts with audience. So if you look at website as a product, so who will use it, right? So audience are typically your buyers, and there are different personas who will come and interact with your website. There are job applicants, right? So if you're a any company per se, they will come, they will look at your website, and most importantly, if you're a startup, a lot of them come and make a decision after they look at the website. Hence, it's extremely important, even if you consider them as one of the audiences. Of course, investors and finally customers. The next thing, I think the first thing, and the second thing is really about once you know the audience, it's very important to really figure out what's the goal. Especially, let's take buyers as an example, right? So, What is it that one goal you want to get done using website actually? So no matter you're talking about lead generation, no matter you're talking about revenue, so they're all fine, right? They're all secondary. But I think pivot and center all your conversation around the users actually, right? If you take a user focused or a user first goal, end of the day, the goal is to help your users, your audience, to make the right decision, right? No matter they will pick your product or a competitor product, it's fine. But if you honestly tell them the right things, and that will help them make the right decision. And the most important thing is it has to be easy and it has to be quick, right? So we will sort of uncover this and figure out how can we actually implement this in the next few seconds, actually. So number one pillar is the content, right? So while I will very quickly touch upon what are the key things from a strategic point of view, of course, not be able to really go deep into each of these pillars. I think number one is really about what type of content you will write. Sorry. I think the time has really gone when brands will come and say, "Hey, we are the best technology in the world." Right? Nobody really cares actually because tech is pretty much commoditized, right? With SaaS, with integration ecosystem being so open, I think you can pretty much get any kind of tech. We can pretty much people can really build great products in months or weeks, possibly not years. So what it means is it's very, very important for you to take the whole JTBD approach on your website, where you essentially talk about what are the key jobs that you will solve. Right? Let's say you are a e-commerce product which is helping retailers. So talk about what are the key jobs or the pain points that you will solve using the e-commerce product. Right? So the jobs are potentially any brand who want to go online, they can actually get the job done through the platform, right? So that is the number one point. I think it's extremely important to center all your communication using this one framework, which is the jobs language, right, or the JTVD. So there is a lot of literature around jobs to be done. I would urge you to kind of go and read more about it. Then if we kind of slice the whole content puzzle, right? There are different types of content. Number one is the product stories, which is everything about product, the demos, the data sheet, sorry, the product pages, etc. Industry stories are all about the thought leader content, so-called thought leader content. This is where you essentially talk about some deep point of views about industry. Let's say going back to the e-com product, you can potentially talk about how does the FMCG uh, consumer purchase happening online, right? So things like that. Then you have customer stories, which is all about testimonials and stuff. You have corporate stories, which is about the company, about the team, so on and so forth. And then the people is all about how can you bring in people, right? Which is your celebrating your customers. Let's say for custom fit, the users are mostly CRO experts, the website uh, managers, etc. If custom fit can celebrate some of these people, right? As an example, um, people who are actually who are buying it, right? They would be able to relate to their peers in a much better way, actually. So people stories are extremely important, which can really catalyze the whole buying journey. And when it comes to content, the big question is, whether to use this content management system or not, right? So I'll just stop here, spend like 15 to 30 seconds on that. So when you're really small, right, when you're pre-revenue, when you're PMF, or you're trying to get the product market fit right, and even till when you have like 20, 30 pages on a website, it's okay to not to have a content management system, right? So don't worry about uh, trying to solve a problem which is not really a problem actually. Right? So try and build it on a bare bones HTML, CSS. And slowly, steadily, as and when you scale, you can definitely go with a Webflow. Webflow is potentially the talk of the town right now, right? So it used to be WordPress, but the challenge with WordPress is if you don't get the right WordPress developers, it will just um, create issues in the future, right? So when you go and add a bunch of plugins in the future, after a while the performance starts degrading actually. So Webflow is potentially a good CMS after you scale to a certain level. The second pillar is really the user experience, right? The 101 is about building it for mobile and some of that, because even when we were at Capillary, when we were getting um, thousands of visitors in a month, so especially for campaigns, we used to get 50-55% of them were from mobile. Right now, the number might be different because a lot of them are indoor. But however, ensure you build it for mobile. I don't think I have to emphasize that that has become quite a 101 kind of a topic. Please ensure it's not just about design, but ensure you are, as I mentioned, help your buyers to make a decision quickly. So one is from a content, but second from a load point of view, the page load and the website load point of view. Ensure the entire experience loads within 3 seconds. And another piece, right? Everyone wants to gate the content and really get leads, but please think from the user point of view. Imagine you want to read something, and then somebody would gate it with a 10 field form, and the experience is pathetic, right? And they'll possibly just curse someone who has put this form, or you just say, hey, just screw this, and I will not read this. So my hypothesis is this, right? So if it's a content which is top of the funnel and potentially middle of the funnel, so try and ungate it, right? So you might, sorry for the controversial answer, but try and ungate it. But write the content in an amazing way in terms of engaging and relevant. They will not just love the content uh, because there is no form. They will read it, they will enjoy it, and they'll share it, and they'll bookmark it, right? And then and they'll start associating your brand for something, right? Let's say if custom fit is all about website personalization, they'll start making associations. If custom fit is written about a guide on website personalization, right? If they love it, they'll start making associations in the brain. So it's very important to ungate your top of the funnel content and the middle of the funnel, especially some good point of views. The most important thing is the case studies. Right? Never get it, because if somebody is trying to read about another customer with a potential prospect, so let them read first and then take a call whether they want to sign up actually. Right? I'm not saying don't ungate everything, but all I'm trying to say is try and build the journey in a way that let them read a great blog and then figure out a way to, let's say, if the content is so compelling, they will definitely subscribe for a newsletter, right? They'll suddenly subscribe for your next virtual event which is happening, and that's important. And the third pillar is the SEO, right? And a lot of them, I don't think this black hat SEO, the era of the black hat SEO is over. I hope all of us get that. I think the websites are built for humans actually. If you build great content, great user experience, then it's given, right? All you have to do is just optimize the basics from the Google or the SEO point of view. You're home, right? So because great content means engagement types are high, people share it, and hence Google will love it actually, right? And the one big question people always have is this: for blog, should we have a subdomain or should we have a folder which is slash blog? So again, there are multiple debates online, but the one answer which I want to talk about is having a subfolder slash blog is a lot better than subdomain, because subdomain is treated as another unique domain which is unrelated, which is unrelated from the master domain, and hence having it under blog slash blog folder is a lot more impactful and effective. So the all the SEO juice which is related to the blog would be attributed to the main website, right? And that's extremely important. And the fourth bucket is really about personalization, right? And gone are those days where people are just writing stuff for everyone. There are various ways where you can personalize your website for an individual in really in the longer run, where you capture somebody's information, you have their details. When they come back to your website, you can really call them out through name and all of that. That's really the hyper personalization stage. But to start with, you can really personalize your website experience based on the country. You can figure out what's the IP, do the reverse IP, and there are tools like Clearbit which can help you to identify that, and then you can customize the experience. So again, I will not talk more about it because Ashwin Kumar is going to talk about it in a few minutes. And the fifth is about journeys, right? Which is about stitching all the four pillars, and how do you really help your users to make the right decision, like easily and quickly. Actually, I will share a quick example, right? Users can come to home, they can go to products, they can go to customers, and then finally they might fill the demo form. They might fill the demo form. A lot of them come to home, they might drop off because multiple reasons actually. The most important thing is to define these journeys and try and figure out macrometrics. Right? Macrometrics is the bigger metric. Let's say there are 100 people coming on the demo page, only one is converting. Right. So the demo page conversion is a bigger number, which is a macrometric. And how does that macrometric is driven? Is through different micrometrics, right? So on the demo page, so 100 people will come in, right? So let's say 50% of them just drop off after 2 seconds. Out of this 50, let's say 25 people start filling the form, and out of 25, let's say only one of them have filled the form. So what it means is the micrometric is really slicing the entire journey and then having those small metrics stage by stage, so that for example, one of the micrometrics is really the drop-offs which are happening in each field actually. So different micrometrics will impact the larger metric, which is the macrometric. If you, let's say, improve the drop-off rate in the field, in the form field, automatically you will impact the macrometric, which is the demo page conversion percentage. Right. So this is potentially, the most important piece I would say, which is the journeys. Very clearly figure out, does your website really achieve the whole big goal of helping users to make a right decision, easily and quickly actually. And if you can dial back and answer the same question, is this new idea which you're building will help the audience to make the decision faster and quicker? I think that's very important. Yeah, so here is a quick example. I think I will leave this to Ashwin. I think after my piece, I think he's going to talk about it. But here's a quick example on how we can customize the entire website, especially a form, sorry, especially a page for different audience largely. So a lot of the folks, especially a lot of the founders, ask me, so hey, when should we have a great website, and when should we have a great blog? And I think this is my one line answer to everyone actually. Right? So start telling stories before you really write that, before the first line of code is written actually, because building a brand is never ending, right? It's not that you get let's say you become an IPO, you will never stop telling your story, right? So, and hence, as the brand building is a never ending, it's an always on activity. Please start telling stories before, the sooner the better, right? So what to tell, right? So what to tell is really about, start talking about the industry, start talking about the insights that you get as a founder and the founding team. You potentially understand the market a lot better than your customers actually, because day in and day out you eat, breathe, and spend time with your customers, and hence start with that, and then typically this is how the website would look like, right? So what are the different building blocks? So you'll essentially have a homepage, you'll have a blog. I just spoke about what are the things we can write in the blog. Then you should definitely talk about your story. Why did you start? How did you start? Who are the team members? Talk about the incidents which will lead to starting the company, right? Because end of the day, you don't have anything else than you, the founders and the story actually. So it's incredibly important to bring out that honesty, bring out that what happened behind the scenes out to the world actually. I found it quite intriguing, a lot of the early stage startups just don't have a website, just possibly have a website. They just say, coming soon, or, stay tuned and stuff like that, right? Which is one way of looking at it. But my point of view is even before you launch the product, so talk about who you are, talk about industry, and it's a great way to actually build the traction and build some top of the funnel and audience largely. So this is how typically a website can look during the pre-revenue stage. Fast forward, right? Let's say you are at a hyper growth stage, and this is how typically the website will look like. Starts with products. You have multiple products possibly, and you can also talk about your platform, which is the technology story, right? There's the scalability, reliability, security, so on and so forth. So maybe under products itself. Under solutions, the interesting part is this is the same wine in a different bottle, right? So by industry, how does your product is relevant for a specific industry? So talk about the core use cases, the top three, top five use cases of the industry, and figure out how will you solve that, especially. Right? For example, we had a loyalty software. The loyalty software in a FMCG world is relevant because FMCG world uh, is a low margin industry. So our use case was, hey, we will help you become, will help you, will help you make you a better company in terms of profitability, right? Versus, let's say in a apparel, so loyalty was all about bringing back the customers into the store, because walk-ins is really the lifeline of apparel industry. Because the moment you walk in, people would buy, potentially buy, right, and they'll buy more essentially. So talk about how the same product can solve different use cases, different industries, and most important is the function, right? Your product would serve different people in a company, and then truly figure out what are the key moving metrics your product can have, and then really talk about it in the function in the function section. And customer section is no brainer, so resources is also no brainer. So about this is where is you'll expand your story, talk about your awards and some of the other things. If you are a partner-driven company, you can talk about partners. Of course, pricing is quite no-brainer. So this is how, based on my learning, this is how a typical hypergrowth stage company's website would look like. And moving forward, when you become a post IPO, right, you will start having sections like investor relations. You will make the content multilingual. You will also have country-based content, so on and so forth. And this is again a discussion in itself, right? When do we do this multilingual? When do we do this country-based content? I have some experience there. We tried doing multilingual content for Indonesia, UAE, and some of that. We took this interesting approach where the mother website had 100% of content. The multilingual regional websites had not a website, I would say it's a microsite, which just had the top 10 pages, which is just carved out from the mother site. Right? We spent quite a bit of time to nudge people who are coming from that specific IP, but however, we just couldn't get traction actually, and from the multilingual content consumption point of view. So we sort of shut it down after a while. But the point is, not really shut it down. We didn't really spend a lot of time to build more and more content, but we just let it be there because we just wanted to show them that, hey, you know what, we are, if we're catering in the GCC region, we also have an Arabic side, right? So that was more from a perception point of view. We kept it, but the point is, after a certain point in time, let's say you have a target of let's say 5 million ARR in a specific region. So try and start with one or two pages, then expand it to a microsite, and you can continue actually. But however, there are some regions such as Germany and France and Italy, maybe having a multilingual section, having a multilingual microsite is potentially important from day one because they're very very sensitive when it comes to in making a buying decision. Uh, so let's get to some practical stuff, right? So how do you really build this home page which is high performing? And then, so for me, any topic can be packaged in the form of a framework actually. So if you have that framework and if you blindly follow that, sorry, and customize it to your company, it just works like a charm. So I've taken Gong as an example. uh, I think the number one thing, right, number one thing when your audience lands to a website, they just need to they just need an answer for this question. What is it that one thing, what is it that the key job that you solve, right, as a product, right? Or here they're talking about, hey, we'll help you grow revenue with Kong, and they're talking about revenue intelligence and so on and so forth. But the point is, the first line or the first fold, I think it's all about talking what is that one job, what is it that job that you will solve as a product. And show me the proof, right? And why should I trust you? And just after the within the first word, just after the header, I think the most important thing is to immediately build the trust through customers. Either you have a lot of great customers, we can talk about them through the logo splash, or you can also talk about the outcomes. You can potentially talk about investors you're very early on, or you can possibly talk about the founding team experience, so on and so forth. Again, if you're in the early stage, actually. The next section after, let's say, the first scroll, right? They want to know how. Someone is saying, so Gong is saying, hey, we'll help you grow revenues, but how? So Gong has been very clearly talking about this whole new industry called revenue intelligence. And they're really saying, hey, through revenue intelligence, we can essentially make data-backed decisions versus opinions. And they also very clearly say there are three buckets, actually, the three different products or the use cases, which is deal, people, and market intelligence. People will scroll further. They want more and more stuff which will help them cement the trust, right? So outcomes are extremely important in terms of what are the outcomes that you have delivered as an average is a great example to build the trust. To be more proof, right? I think this is either you can talk about some testimonials or you can feature some of the top point of views of the industry stories you have built. This also reiterates that you have authority in this one industry called revenue intelligence in Gong's example. So if you do this, then a lot of the people say, hey, looks interesting, right? If a revenue operations person or a sales operation person has come in and they're grappling with some similar challenges, some of them might sign up, right? Or they will at least spend more time, digging deeper and understanding the product. So this is this one framework, right, where it all starts with, what is the problem statement you are solving, how do you build trust, and talk about how we can solve the problem. How is mostly we can talk about three things. We can essentially talk in a small section about what are the different modules you have and what are the sub jobs that you solve. I think that would be helpful actually. So this is about homepage, and we can take the similar lens for product page as well, right? So product page, you might have multiple products. It's very important to really take very deeper focus in terms of, hey, what is it that one job which the product A will solve, right? For example, over here, we had a loyalty product. We said, hey, we will help you build great brand experiences with an experiential loyalty platform, right? And then we also have written the H2 is all about how, mostly how actually. Right? And then again, we are reiterating the trust by talking about some of the customers who are using this specific product. And then the next thing is all about having a bunch of sections, which is about unbundling the product and talking about, let's say, module slash futures, right? But again, all the future, all the futures will try and translate it into what is it that future help the customers, right? Over here, we're talking about engagement-based loyalty, where gamification is the key. We are essentially talking about how does this gamification help the brands in essentially engaging with their consumers, actually, end consumers. We're talking about some testimonials. We are featuring some stories which are about loyalty, right? And then finally we have a call to action. And then there'll be multiple sections about similar to engagement-based loyalty. We had, I think, 4 or 5 sections, and interspersed with a bunch of testimonials and some of that. But the key is this, right? So you talk about the job, you build the trust through the brands, you unbundle the job and talk about what are the in 3 or 4 sections, what are the different features that you have, clearly addressing how those features will help, it will lead to different use cases. And then finally, feature some of the content pieces which are about that specific product, right? A loyalty manager, let's say, is looking for what are the trends in loyalty, right? So it's very important to sort of also bucket and talk about the resources which are related. So this is about the contact us page. So contact us is mostly when people have made up their mind. So you have to quickly make them sign up. Over here, we also have allowed the LinkedIn sign up, where the moment if you're logged in LinkedIn, if you just press that button, the form will fill itself, right? So we'll essentially pull the content. It will, or we also had a chat bot. Also, we had a phone number. That's why the simple ways for outreach, right? A lot of them don't want to wait after they fill the form. So a bunch of them used to call, some of them used to chat. So allow them different options based on their urgency. They will interact with that touch point, be it the chat, be it the form fill, or be it the calling. Yeah, just reiterate the trust. And as I said, the job seekers are also important. So maybe in the second fold, you can give them an email ID and some other information, right? So the whole point, if you see, the first fold is all about conversion. Uh, the objective of someone who has come to contact us page, their objective is to contact you, right? So allow them with all the options, communicate that, and then there's the date actually. So this is how a typical website stack would look like. The platform is like Webflow or a WordPress or a HTML, CSS. So chatbot are the what we call as a conversational marketing, which Drift has really coined. This is about another way for people to do an outreach, and this is extremely important. I think you should definitely definitely implement it. Of course, you'll have marketing automation, which will essentially tie back to the forms and the tracking and all of that. Uh, then there are some SEO tools which are SEMrush and etc. You have website personalization tool. So CustomFit is definitely one of the content that's there. Clearbit is a platform which also gives you data which can be used to customize your website. So for analytics, there are tools like in Google Analytics, you know that there are also tools like Factors.ai, which sort of consolidates data at different level, will help you take decisions. Factors.ai also sort of lets you, uh, it also gives you insights about some micro segments, which you as an analyst will go and say, hey, what happened to the event signups? Where are they coming from? How does the week on week look like? How does the week on week signups look like for the event? So on and so forth, right? So what they do is they sort of give that insights, just like an analyst using the power of AI and hosting. I think it's no brainer actually. And the big question is about this, right? So whether to build the website internally or to outsource it. Um, so this is what, from my experience, if you are a company who is in the pre-revenue, pre-market, pre-product market fit phase, it's extremely important to get your developers to, get your product team to build the website, and that's how I think a lot of few folks do it, which is great. After a while, I think try and get a visual and a web developer. It's a two-in-one role, very very difficult to get, but it should be ideally the second hire in marketing, based on my experience. The first hire is a content marketer, is a storyteller, and the second hire would be a visual and a web developer who can not only help you, um, design the website, but also develop it, and also can help you with all the creatives around social events, etc. After the growth stage, and when I think you should definitely build your own website team, like a full-time web developer, potentially, right? And then the whole idea is to collaborate with the design agency when you're rehauling your entire website, right? Because the point is when you're rehauling and rebranding, it's very challenging for the internal team to get out of the box ideas. So one possible solution for that is to collaborate with the design agency. In a nutshell, based on my experience, I think please don't outsource the web development. It is a broken experience because
Hey Ashwin,
you are,
I'm so sorry
hey,
to interrupt you, but we have request from attendees. So
sure.
can you please click on that hide screen sharing in the bottom?
Oh, sure. Okay. Sorry, just a
Uh,
second.
yeah,
Is it okay now?
yeah. So they will be able to see what is there in the bottom.
Sure. Great. Yeah.
Thanks.
So I think in a nutshell, I think don't outsource the website because, as I said, this is really the core to your company growth. It's this one thing which cuts across the user journey all the way from creating awareness to really, you know, they become your advocates. Um, so based on my experience, I never outsourced a website. I've been there, done that. We've outsourced the website twice or thrice, severely, burnt our hands, because it just developed the website as an agency, right? So nobody will get that whole thought process on, how can we position this website and build this website as the face of the company, right? So it will all become transactional where they will take their own sweet time to build it. If you want to go live with a new idea, they will come back with some additional costs, just like an outsourcing project. And hence, um, as I said, in this slide, so initially get this developed internally through your product team, then get a visual and a web developer, and finally, hire a full-time web developer and your visual designer who will also be another resource who will be working on creatives can design the website, basically, right? So that's about it. That's all I had. I think if you want this deck, uh, do write a post on LinkedIn, share your learning so that your followers can also learn from that. You can tag me, and if you want to add screenshot, you can do that. So drop me a message. Happy to send this across to you.
Great.
Thank you so much. So I think I overshoot the time, and I will let Ashwini to bring in Ashwin Kumar.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Ashwin, for this information. We just had a poll where I asked that before understanding and researching about ideal customer profiles and outreach, so how would anyone feel if they are able to understand about their website visitor in depth? So, who the visitor is, what company they are into, geo segment, and what they have done on their website, how they are moving. So, we have a really good response for this thing. So, they can plan their content and social media posts and blogs, understanding their behavior, visitors' behavior on the website. So I think Ashwin can really emphasize on this thing and take it like how we can understand our visitor and how we can help them out, like to increase the user engagement and visitor engagement. Over
Thanks,
to you,
Ashwini.
Ashwin.
Thank you. And Ashwin, Krishna, this was a really great talk. Even I was listening as one of the audience. Okay, I went in depth in such a way that okay, I forgot that there is, I need to talk next. But thanks, because it's everything is very in line what I'm going to talk. Definitely, our audience will stick to that. Let me just share my screen. Let me know if you guys are able to see my screen.
Yeah, we can. It's great.
Yes, yes,
Perfect.
Ashwin.
So, like what, hello audience, good evening, good morning, right. So I'm Ashwin, co-founder and CEO of CustomFit, myself, uh, the entrepreneur, multi-time, worked for multiple early stage startups. No, with all our experience, right? Okay, let us present the CustomFit here. Uh, CustomFit is a no-code conversion-driven, website experience optimization platform, right? So it means think in a way that custom fit boosts the visitor to lead conversion by 50%. Right? That's what it is. Okay, period. In sense, like the moment a visitor lands on your website, say that the website is intelligent enough to understand who the visitor is, what the visitor has done, who sent him onto the website. I know what is he looking for, whether he's a first-time visitor or a repeat visitor. If he's a repeat visitor, what was he doing on the website? How long he was staying on the pages? How, what kind of the articles he was reading? What blogs he was going through, right? And even it can go to such an extent that say that your website is able to auto-detect the visitor's company details, like, hey, what's the company name? What segment they're into? What industry they are catering? Or what is the size of that company? What region they are coming from, right? Using all this information, now you think in a way that your website start talking as if it's a human, right? Because it knows that who the visitor is, what is he looking for, and what is that exactly I need to showcase to him so that I can, build that engagement, and that ultimately goes to the conversion, right? But if you see from the marketer's perspective, right? So marketers think that whenever they run the campaign, right, they assume, okay, visitors came, visitors saw, lead captured, right? Because whenever you run a campaign, right, you look at three important metrics, right? One thing is what's the like, for example, what is the impression that campaign is giving me, right? Seeing that like ad, or that post, how many people are landing onto my website? That's the second thing. And third thing is all about how many of them got converted, right? But if you consider these 2 points, like, okay, how many people landed onto my website and how many people got converted, hundreds of the things can happen over there, right? It's not the straightforward line, right? So as a marketer, you need to understand not just the sending the part. I mean, say not just, demand generation part. It's also, about the conversion part, right? So the ultimate goal is not to get the max number of the views on your website, right? It's all about the conversion, right? So that's where, okay, custom fit helps you out. Okay, basically, if you see current stack today, the current conversion stack is very suboptimal and it's highly fragmented, where data resides from multiple different sources, okay, in multiple different sources and all those things. That's where, the biggest problem, very first thing comes with understanding of the visitors. In sense, the moment a visitor lands on your website, You as a marketer needs to understand how exactly are they walking on the website, what kind of the twist they are taking, what kind of the turns they are going through, where are they seeing friction, where are they bouncing off from various different angles. Like for example, say that I want to understand that one particular segment of audience who landed from that one specific LinkedIn post I posted. When they land onto my website, how are they walking on the website? Okay, what is kind of the frictions they are seeing it out, right? Now, once you understand this thing, then the next important thing is how can I give a custom fit experience, right? That's what actually I was talking about, right? So you know the visitor, you know that segment of the audience who is landing onto your website. It's all about showcasing them the content as if, okay, they should feel that, hey, look, okay, like what I'm searching for is exactly what this website, what this platform is providing me. Or think in a way that your marketer is sitting right behind the screen, or your sales guy is sitting right behind the screen, and he know exactly as soon as that visitor lands, hey, fine, okay, I know this guy, okay, I know, he likes this thing, or I know this is the way I need to convey to him, right? So that's what is providing the hyper personalized experience. It means you're trying to showcase the content what it exactly matters to them, right? So not just, okay, understanding of the visitors, showing the right content, fine. The third and the biggest thing is, okay, how can you make it in action? Like what is the action you're going to take it out, right? So these are all a bunch of the problems what, okay, custom fit solves. Like basically, custom fit, we are trying to basically think in a way that it's a complete conversion rate optimization platform, one of its kind, which helps you transform your websites into the growth engine, right? By providing three biggest, dimensions of the CRO thing: hyper personalization, audience analyzer, and real-time actions. Let me quickly take you, okay, how our customers are using it out, okay. One of our customer, ChargeBee, they are really, harnessing the power of personalization to engage the audience and ultimately drive the conversions. For example, say that when a visitor lands onto their website for very first time, going to the pricing page, right? The pricing page looks something like this: find a plan that's right for you. And the CTA is contact sales. See, unlike in the B2C thing, right? In B2B cases, you need to nurture the visitors across the multiple visits, right? Because the buying won't happen on the very first visit itself, right? So now say that when the visitor lands onto the website, say that visitor is coming back onto the website for the second time, right? Now in their case, the pitch automatically changes as if, why can't you take the help of our expert team, right? Now the CTA is talk to our consultants. Earlier it was contact sales. Now it has changed to talk to our consultant, right? Now say that visitor is coming for the third time and he is not yet convinced, right? Now at this stage, ChargeBee runs two different stories. For one segment of the audience, they showcase, is that one feature missing in that plan that's what causing friction in your buying decision, or you need help in calculating the exact price. Right. Correspondingly, if you see here, the CTA also changes. In first case, it is like talk to a team, and second case, it's they connect to the pricing experts. Right. Likewise, like for example, let's go to another case. What they do, like say they have this demo page, requested demo page that has different segments like heading, description, logo, testimony, and all. Right. Now, say when a visitor from B2B background lands onto this page, okay, even when they go anywhere on the website, right? So now they want to showcase, hey, look, okay, ChargeBee is meant for B2B businesses. Right? Even if you see the testimony is also coming from one of their B2B clients. Likewise, say when a B2C customer lands onto their website, now the pitch automatically changes as if, okay, ChargeBee is meant for B2C business. Like not only on this page, wherever they go, for example, what logos to showcase it out, okay, what kind of case studies to, highlight that thing, right? Everything changes that flavor, right? They go pretty deep. For example, okay, in their case, they want to, like, they do the hyper personalization based on industry. From say a visitor from e-learning background coming onto the website, they want to showcase, ChargeBee is meant for e-learning, businesses, right? Now, like for example, say even based on the size of the companies, when a startup visits the website, or when a mid-segment company visits the website, or when the enterprise level company visits the website, the pitch is entirely different, targeted for that segment of the audience, right? You see here, showcasing the relevant content, okay, what it matters to them, that's what make them stick onto the website, right? So ultimately that drives this kind of the results. Like basically they're seeing 40% jump, like in a couple of these cases, okay, and it's even huge. Even some of our customers are seeing 120% jump on them, right? So in a nutshell, it's all about, how can you convert your website into a growth engine, right? So that's what, Custom Fit presents over here, right? Quickly, I want to showcase you the two aspects, like about the custom fit, right? One thing is a hyper personalization thing. So custom fit's personalization engine, it's a completely no code platform. Whatever may be the website or technology which you're using, whether it's a WordPress, Joomla, Webflow, anything, okay, it just works out of box. You can literally go and change any element on the website without, changing even a single line of the code. Like for example, I would like to change it as, say, I would like to change it as number one personalization, right? So whether it's a text, image, button, even actions, you can even also go and say that visualized, you can go and say the visualized tracker, say that among the people who are seeing this particular variant, I would like to track how many people clicked on this particular button. And also not only just changing the content, you can also change, you can also go and add the contents like in form of the inline elements or in form of the, like highly customized pop-ups, like what kind of the pop-up which I am seeing on my screen may be completely different than what you are seeing. It's completely based on, who you are and what you have done, right? So it's a pretty deep engine that highly, like there are super cool tools and functionalities what custom fit gives with respect to the personalizing each and every element, right? Like that, the other thing what Ashwin Krishna also emphasized on, right? So it's at most like necessary to understand the visitors, what's happening on the website, right? Custom fit goes n level deeper. For example, any of these existing analytics tools today, which you're seeing, so they just work from the bird's eye view. In sense, like say you want to understand how exactly are they walking from various different patterns. Say that there is a pricing page. Okay, you personalize that page. The page path is the same. It's a slash pricing, but the content is totally different, right? Say that okay, what the call to action you are calling is totally different. You as a visitor, what is the next action you are going to take is completely driven by what you are seeing over there. Right? Say, for example, I'm seeing a variant of the thing, and when, like, what, depending upon what I'm seeing, my next action will be decided, right? So that's where the custom fit, like the analytics engine, it goes n level deeper and showcases from various different angles what is happening on the website. Like, for example, like one of our flagship feature, say Journey Explorer. So you want to analyze how exactly your people are moving from one given point to any of your goal points. Like say, I want to see, from my home page, from say from any other page, how they are moving, right? It tries to showcase you the exact journey graphs. Like for example, in sense, it says like from this is the home page, this is the like this number of sessions happened, this is the dropout percentage, this is the pass through percentage, and among like after seeing the home page, the next highest viewed page is the pricing page, what the people gone through, right? It goes pretty deep in understanding how are they walking exactly in the pattern, okay, which would have happened there, right? And also you can do a lot of like in-depth analytics, not just the bird's eye view. You can want to say that I want to see the journey of the people who came from that one particular LinkedIn post, who is from region California, who is already say a MQL record in my HubSpot, and who has viewed this particular page for the second time, the repeat visitor, right? You can even go that level deep and you can see how they are walking and all, right? Bunch of the things CustomFit provides, even the firmographic engine, it detects what and all the companies visiting your website, how many times they are visited, what are they doing on the website. Like for example, in this case, this is the company visited my website. What exactly are they doing? Like, okay, if I see, okay, it will show you these are all the pages been viewed. These are all the, like this exact action what they carried out, right? And other crux here is, CustomFit talks to multiple third-party sources. Like, for example, we are the partners of Clearbit, Kickfire for the IP address thing. CustomFit natively talks with the platforms like the HubSpot, GeoFit, and all those things, right? So by that way, if you see, the stitching of the data happens from multiple various sources. Now you have the biggest set of the attributes on which you can go and write fine-grained personalization rules, right? So that's what, okay. And I want to conclude over here. If any questions or any request for a personalized demo, feel free to shoot us a mail at reach@customfit.io or just comment it out over here. But yeah, thanks for attending this webinar, and I guess okay, we can go on to the questionnaires, Ashwini.
Yes, Ashwin. Thank you so much for this information. And guys, we are really open for the questions now. Anyone? We have one question for Ashwin Kumar. If it is a B2C website of a travel company, can we get a 360-degree customer view in his or her first visit? And what's the intent? Which websites of the others she has visited, their social account?
Yes. So basically think in a way that this way, right? Like the moment a visitor lands on your website, so, like for example, with respect to our platform, if I want to talk, so it detects bunch of the different attributes. Like for example, okay, who sent him onto the website, reading what kind of the blogs he's coming onto your website. Like for example, say that he read a particular blog about the Sri Lanka travels. Like when he land onto the website, okay, you can mark him that, okay, hey, he is a tourist looking for these kind of the destinations, right? So like basically all this data can be sourced from that thing, and also it enriches the data with other thing like geolocation thing, or it enriches the data based on the behaviors. In sense, now think in a way that based on how I started, what kind of the pages which I'm looking at, and all those things. So basically the engine over there, it learns over the time, and it will try to give you a highly perfect experience there. And on very first visit, and in the second visit, okay, it can even quick go, like as I said, okay, it learns and it can go even deeper.
Right. And we have one more question for Ashwin Krishna.
Yeah, sure, Ashwini.
So, what is your take on mobile first approach for SaaS website design?
Okay, sure. So I think so truly, it all depends on the segment, right? So segment you're targeting, and then it all depends on that. So even though mobile first would mean potentially if it is open on a desktop or a laptop, the spacing would be a lot more because it's built for mobile. But so I think depends on your audience. Let's say if your audience are on the go, let's say you're building an application for a sales rep where they can just swipe a card and start using it. Mostly the sales reps are on the go. So might be you can build a mobile first website, but otherwise, build a normal website which is optimized for mobile, gather data, look at analytics, and then figure out if 80% if they're coming from mobile, maybe you have to really latch onto your strategy of mobile first. Otherwise, I think it's just that website which works, you know, charmingly well or seamlessly. If it works seamlessly well across the channels or the screens, that's exactly what is the need of the hour.
And we have next question. Can you please elaborate more on gated and ungated content?
Yeah, sure. So gated in a simple terms is a content which has a form. Ungated is just a blog which doesn't have anything, right? A blog, article, or a page doesn't have anything. That's an ungated content. I just want to spend another 15 seconds about what we discussed. So where I was coming from is everyone is obsessive, especially marketers are obsessive to platforms for every possible content which is out there. But the point is if let's say somebody doesn't know your brand, if they don't believe that you have a great content, why will they really sign up? Right? And hence open up a lot of blogs, lot of guides that you have built. Not really guides, possibly a whole bunch of point of view slash blogs you write. Don't gate them. Let people read, let people share. Uh, as I said, if your content is very compelling, um, have ways where we can capture their email ID, right? Newsletter, event, so on and so forth, actually. So that's in a nutshell.
And we have next question. How is it connected to WordPress if my website is built on WordPress?
I'm sorry, didn't get the question.
Okay, how
No,
these things? Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
guess,
This
okay, the
I think
question
for
is for
Ashwin.
me. All
Okay.
right. So basically, yeah, so CustomFit, it's a one-click integration. Okay, basically you just need to go and add a small snippet, a small JavaScript snippet, like how you would have added Google Analytics, Hodge, or any of those kind of the thing. The moment you add that snippet, like CustomFit, like like basically you will get the ability or power to go and edit any web pages on the thing. That's it's just one line integration what you need to do for one time, and that's the only point where you need the developer intervention. And after that thing, think in a way that you as a marketer, you are controlling, like basically the entire website will be in your control because you are the one who are driving the traffic. and you know exactly when that segment of audience lands, what is that to showcase to them.
And I think next question is pretty similar to this thing. So can WordPress WooCommerce can fit into your product?
Absolutely, yes.
And we have next question. How do you set your audience target, and what do you take into consideration?
I guess it's for you, Ashwin. Or
Sorry, sorry, Ashwin, can you please come again? I wasn't
Yeah, sure.
getting.
So how do you set your audience target, and what do you take into consideration while setting the audience target?
Okay, yeah, sure. That's a good question, but possibly it all starts there, right? So it's almost like asking, okay, how much is the revenue target for next quarter, right? I will try and keep it brief. So multiple ways, right? So it all starts with, are you a product which is a painkiller product, slash a product like CRM, which is a need. Painkiller is a need, right? If there is a intense pain, you have to take a painkiller versus a vitamin product, which is a want-based product, right? Where people might or might not buy the product. For such products, you have to create demand by running outbound campaigns. Um, and hence, target setting for a need-based product like a CRM, it's easy because you look at the keywords, you look at what type of keyword buckets you will run, let's say, great content pieces, and then long term that will give you organic traffic. And in the short term, if you have money, what are the keywords you can bid for and get, let's say, AdWords traffic, so on and so forth. So one way to do it is channel wise, look at based on what segment you are in, figure out what percentage of the traffic can you get over a period of time. So that will give you that absolute number. You can keep adding, and we can potentially get to that. Let's say monthly. Let's say this is the X visitors I can plan for, right? While this is a theoretical stuff, the best way to do it is start small. Uh, Start with a conservative number, and then really sort of build out your monthly plan based on what channels are working. Right? Let's say a certain content piece is working because it got optimized for a set of keywords. Then do more of that. Right? Really unlock the true value of the entire value of that keyword bucket. Actually,
Thanks, Ashwin. And we are running out of time, but we'll be having last three questions. Uh, First question is for Ashwin Kumar. So, how do I track my SEO effort, Ashwin?
sorry, my this thing was there. So basically, like basically, if you're asking with respect to the tool, like CustomFit will give you in-depth analytics of from where and all okay the people are coming over there. Okay, like what segment, what industry, bunch of the things. You can go and check your clear inflow of the data. That's one thing. And second thing is, okay, if the question is related to whether the personalization and all those things will affect your SEO thing, then the answer is no over there, because what actually happens is whenever these SEO crawlers crawl your website, right, they always see a default variant, whatever you are, the plain vanilla variant over there. Right, so that's where actually they don't see these kind of the dynamic jump in the content, so that okay they will get confused, right? So for the SEO agents, always see the default one, while your actual users, the human users, always try to always see the personalized one based on what kind of the targets you have written for them.
And next question is again for you, Ashwin. How your solution is different from Zoho Sales Queue and Page Sense?
Correct. So basically, if you see in our case, like the custom fit it's a complete CRO optimization platform. Okay, like including all these bunch of the things like hyper personalization, understanding of your visitors, and taking the actions and all those things. That's where like if you see, you no need to see, if you see the current stack of the CRO thing, right? The data is split across various different sources and it's very suboptimal. That's where we have come up with one set solution where you can understand what is happening. You can target with the right content, and then you can take the actions, and you can retarget bunch of the things, right? It's always in a way of thinking in a way that the moment a visitor lands, it's all about how can I convert him, right? So it goes in that angle. So it's in one word, it's a kind of all-in-one solution. If you can see with respect to the CRO thing, where packaged under one umbrella.
Any question? Last one. We can go for. Okay, it's again for Ashwin Kumar. How does CustomFit know user personalization? I mean, without sign in or email, how can you know that?
That's a good question. Like, see, think in a way this way, right? Say that I'm landing onto your website for the very first time. So now, like it auto detects a bunch of the things. In sense, for example, it knows that okay, who referred you onto the website? Okay, like from what region? Like basically, CustomFit has this inbuilt tools that can detect your geolocation coordinates. In sense, what region, what country, bunch of the things, right? It can also go to such an extent that using the IP address. So it's a kind of reverse IP address technique where based on the IP address, CustomFit can fetch the company details, like so more than 90 plus different attributes like company name, company segment, like even other things like what segment, what industry, what is the size of that company, and all those things, right? And also it can like from what kind of the campaigns, for example, they are coming from specific campaigns. It also has this eye on the UTM parameters like UTM campaign, term, medium, right? So using all these things, some of the things are auto detected, some of the things are fetched from the different sources, and some of the things are like on based on the actions, okay, it will get enriched, right? That's how you can have the lot of attributes based on that thing. You can give a custom experience.
I think these were the last questions, but new questions are coming up. Response is really good. We cannot leave them unanswered. So this question is for Ashwin Krishna. Are chatbots really effective? Are they intrusive to website experience?
Yeah, sure. So I think so it's about how you slot it in terms of the whole user experience. Don't just you know don't just make the bot occupy like 1/4 of the screen the moment somebody lands in, right? So chatbots typically have the customization experience where, let's say, after 4 seconds or after, let's say, half scroll, etc. There are different ways, different dimensions we can segment, and then after which the chatbot would, let's say, pop out. So things like that, right? So we have implemented so chatbot, I think for 3-4 years back. It used to be that old school chatbot where there was no conversation happening. It was just this one small little text box, slapped under this small chat window where one can just submit the details. All the way from that to the whole conversational piece where using a question and answer kind of a format, the bot can capture details. Right? So we sort of implemented all the way from that to the new age one. It is very effective, very, very effective. We also used customize the chatbot for every page, right? So based on what page one person is in, sorry, the entire conversation was customized accordingly. If somebody is in industries page, let's say pharmaceutical, then the entire language in the conversation is about the context which is around that pharmaceutical actually. So think about it as this, right? As Ashwin also mentioned, somebody sitting behind the screen and trying to serve them, right? If a system can do it, then why not? I think go ahead, implement it. Start with a generic conversation across the website. The more and more results you get, then you can certainly put in more efforts and the time, where which you can customize one per page type of the visitor. Let's say somebody is coming back again. Let's say for a return visitor, the entire experience can be completely different. In fact, There are companies who just don't have a form at all. No basis for thinking about the company, its drift. So all they have is a chatbot, right? Because that's what the company is all about. I think from a experience point of view, I think it really works.
So with this question, we would like to wrap up this session, and I would like to thank you all the attendees here, or the audience here to attend this webinar. I hope this was really helpful for you regarding the content and regarding the information. Um, yeah. So I think no more questions. So, with this, we would like to wrap up this another exciting event brought to you by Custom. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Ashwin Krishna. Thank you so much, Ashwin Kumar. And uh, yeah, we really hope that we meet in the next event. Thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone. I think we overshoot the time by 50% almost. So folks in India, please go and have dinner, and folks in the US, sorry for stopping you for having a good breakfast. So have a
Breakfast.
great day
Yeah.
and a great night.
Have a great day and have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.